so it came from bats. It came from bats. It had to come from bats. It's times like these where I wish that, like in Spider-Man, if you got bit or you contracted some shit that originated from a cool creature, that you would basically just adapt to have some of that creature's cool attributes. Like, why, when you get bit by a spider, do you not grow 8 fucking legs and 8 million eyes and, like, the ability to lay eggs in your boyfriend's head? Like, why the fuck, if you get coronavirus, do you not develop the ability to, like, sleep upside down or eat more than 600 bugs in an hour? Like, that sounds so cool. Missed opportunity, coronavirus. On the real, though, everything is terrifying. It's horrifying. You already know that. You can read the news. On the other hand, I feel like artists are having an interesting time assessing who they really are as artists, because we're basically like our microcosm has become the global situation. Like, we spend most of our time when reality is working building these alternate realities and fantasy worlds and basically just like trying to convince everyone else that it's legitimate for us to be spending our time alone making these things, and that escapism is valuable and that you should spend money on it. And like, now all of a sudden the world is on fire and the global imperative is literally that people need to stay the fuck home and not interact with each other. And that's so different than anything we've ever had to deal with before. Like, psychologically as well, we're so used to being like, let's band together, togetherness, like solidarity, let's march in the streets, and all of a sudden this global epidemic is asking us to just stay the fuck away from each other. Like, don't see each other, don't touch each other. If you see me at Food for Less trying to buy a potato, don't fucking hug me. And like, I kind of like that, because it's just, to me it just sounds like the world's way of being like, you've been fucking shit up really hard, like you are not equipped to deal with this, and the fact that the only way to participate in humanity right now is to just basically not participate says something about what's going on. And aside from that, like, I spent a lot of time alone anyway. Like, I've basically spent my whole life trying to build a world that doesn't exist and wage war against reality and like legitimize the the practice of just sitting alone, like thinking about insane things and like bringing them into being. And all of a sudden the idea of escapism is really crucial and valuable as like a global commodity. And I think it's important for people to really sit down and think about what it means to spend time with themselves. Like, does your practice exist in a vacuum? Can you create things if it doesn't matter what's happening in the world outside? Or if it does, like, do you need something to react to? Can you entertain yourself if there isn't the grind of reality happening outside? And when I've been checking in with friends and other creatives, it's kind of like half and half. Some people like thought this would be a good time to really lean into what they were doing and unfinished projects, and then they've found that they're just totally fucking wiped. Like, they have no inspiration and they're so anxious they can't get anything done. On the other hand, there's a handful of people who are just like psyched, and oftentimes it's the people I know who are like really into zombie movies and are weirdly hyped to have the world stop for a fucking second. And I'm in that camp. It sucks. I don't want to think about what's happening in the news. Everybody knows. But aside from that, how many times have I wished the world would just fucking stop for a second so I could sit down and figure out what's going on in here? And I'm hyped on that opportunity right now. And it's bizarre because I was looking at my old work and thinking, I guess I've been dealing with these concepts for a while. Like, I've been painting characters inside of bottles and characters with helmets and masks, and I don't think it's an isolationist point of view. I think it has to do with my desire always to create microcosms that people can like retreat into, and that a sensation of a kid of just like always wanting to create safe spaces for your brain inside of a world that to me is sometimes like harsh and boring. And it's funny that I paint those like enclosed spaces, basically like self-quarantine characters, that seem like weirdly relevant now, but all of a sudden, now that I'm being forced to stay inside, I'm painting this like giant picture of an open courtyard like in space where kids are outside playing with each other. And I've never painted backgrounds before, but I'm like trying to paint, you know, mountains and buildings and stuff, and it's just bizarre that this is like what I found myself doing at this time, which I kind of like. I like that cognitive dissonance. Shit is fucked up, but I know that everyone's gonna be okay, and everyone's really good at watching Netflix, so